All right, everybody, this is a different type of episode. We're going to be interviewing somebody who's currently in prison. We're going to kind of just jump right into it. We tried this once before, and unfortunately no one was recording, so now we're doing it again. But we're going to try to make it as genuine as possible. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this, and here we go. Or not, because my soundboard doesn't want to work.
My brother, what's happening?
What's going on, buddy?
How you doing, man?
Hanging in there.
I got got the little box on. You gotta wait till the little box come off. It comes off in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I got you.
How your soul, man? How your heart, man?
It's doing all right, man. Doing all right. Just persevering. Got my resilience. It's always at a high level, so I keep bouncing back.
I seen that little fur baby next to you, man. I seen some tails wagging.
Oh yeah, Bullet. He just jumped up.
Oh yeah, man. You know I got a cat myself, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to do like a trial run to see if it is recording at first, or you got it?
No, we're good.
See how we sound and everything.
We're good. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I already did an intro before this, so we don't have to really. We can just jump into it because we tried this before, but I didn't know I was supposed to record, so here we are.
Yeah, man.
And I like what we did, but at the same time, it's like it's real, so it'll come out however, and we'll, there's no fabricating. So we're just telling the story, and whatever happens, happens. Obviously,
authenticity is always amazing, man.
That's right, my friend. So obviously, you should probably tell us your name again and a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
If you don't mind, I wanted to start with a poem, so
sure.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
All right, so it's called Feelings. So it's hard being confined with dreams that don't have no feelings and combating complicated, fickle feelings. Once a destroyer and now tears fall from all these pain killings. It's a challenge. Wanting the wings of freedom, but instead you caught by its talons. Went from just existing to discovering all your potential and talents. Writing books and getting on podcasts so you won't be silenced. Hoping your words resonate. Hoping they see your intention and all the time that you dedicate. For the upliftment of your people, and you pray they want to elevate. Though it's a marathon, I'm not discouraged. I'm in these scary times. I'm strong enough to hold my own, yeah, carry mine. Looking around, seeing strangers and wondering where the family's at. Your mind filled with wisdom, but the system leaves you handicapped. DAs and judges don't care about the abuse years, they just hand you that. Upstate of mountains is where you're landing at. Either playing games in a hole or law libraries where you're trying to get your sentence back. Support collapsed, and the woman you love gave up and she ain't coming back. Your children was kittens when you came in, now they grown thundercats. A lot of sadness, cursed by poverty or brown and blackness. Trying to escape the fire before you expire and turn to ashes. Before some prison cells is think tanks, and for many others they caskets. Because for some prison cells is think tanks, and for many others they caskets. So my name is Matthew Garcia, EG5999. Obviously I am more than 2 letters and 4 numbers. I've been in jail 27 years for second-degree felony murder. So from North Philadelphia, an adopted child. For the people that don't know, felony murder is meaning I ain't have a gun. I didn't kill anybody. But because I was a part of a robbery where someone unfortunately and terribly lost their life, I was given a life sentence with no eligibility for parole.
Yeah, I think I like that you highlighted who you are first because, it's something I've been doing lately of using like first person language where it's like I'm a person before I have a disability. Like you're a person before you ever became convicted. And just because you are convicted doesn't mean you don't have feelings or you're not a person. So I appreciate that.
Well, absolutely, man. And again, I'll be remiss if I didn't thank you. Thank Hector. I thank Donia. And I also want to say free my brother Cal 40 Little. Got to make sure I put that out there because any platform that I'm on, my brother is on it as well in spirit, in solidarity. That's how we pushing it. Again, man, this is like a handicap. It is, by all means, not looked at as a human being anymore. It's more of a prisoner. And in fact, like I told you last time when we were sharing a dialogue, they took away my name and gave me a moniker called Lifer. And that's how they categorized me. No longer a man, no longer Matthew, but a lifer, a prisoner, someone held against his own will, an inhabitant of this carceral system, which is a terrible place. And though there is some good people in here, there's some greatness in here. There's some individuals that have a wrong deal. Some innocent people, and some individuals like myself that have been in jail since they was 18 years old. I'm now 44, going to be 45 years old. And they saying I don't have no chance at redemption until recently with this Derek Lee case, where the PA Supreme Court is any day ruling on if it's constitutional for mandatory life sentences to be imposed on individuals serving second-degree life sentences for felony murder.
Didn't you tell me before there's only 2 states that have that rule?
Absolutely. Pennsylvania and Louisiana.
Okay.
And ironically, the first industrial prison complex was built in Pennsylvania, the Eastern State Complex. It's just a terrible thing, man.
Oh, I bet. No, because somebody was asking me about that recently, and I was trying to remember what the second state was. I knew Pennsylvania was one of them. What can you? I think one other thing is good to point out is your upbringing, your back. You know, essentially the streets raised you. You know, where your parents were and all that.
Well, okay, so again, I am a drug baby according to the prison. I mean the Children Aid Society. So I'm an adopted child. I never met my mother nor father or anybody I share any biological relation with. They said that my mother was on drugs, albeit there was none found in my system when I was born. I'm a premature baby. I was eventually adopted from the Children Aid Society. My name was changed. My name was different prior to being adopted. And I went to a tribe of 2 parents that I can say that was going through their own things and trying their best. So I had a sister, which I love very much. She died of cancer in 2000. And I had an elder brother who was my senior by 11 years. My sister was my senior by 7 years. So the people that adopted me, I'm going to say that they tried a little bit in retrospect. But again, the man was an alcoholic, very violent, very abusive. There wasn't really a lot of lessons taught verbally. My lessons that I had to learn was through pugilism in a sense, when I wasn't being smacked or kicked on for not making good decisions and blunders as all children do. My mother, she had a lot going on. One is that you have this young man that is having some difficulties. I had a mental health disorder, but they said I had ADHD, and I had to take Ritalin. And I also used to have to see psychiatrists about some of my behavior in school, where I was having a hard time adjusting. However, my brother that was my senior by 11 years, he left the house at 17 years old. We didn't have a great relationship because I was adopted, and I guess he thought that I had a lot of attention, and plus he was being abused. So when he left, I had to endure what he was experiencing, and then to top it off, my sister had cancer. So my mother was having a really difficult time. This is her biological child that's sick. And a lot of my emotional disparities and difficulties wasn't being addressed because her attention was on her daughter, and her daughter was sick. Her baby was wounded, and she was trying to be there for her. So no one wasn't stopping me from being shot at in my home, me having to wake up to guns going off because of this alcoholic father of mine. He had this tendency when he gets drunk, he had to shoot his gun. So I used to wake up to that oftentimes, again, even being shot at in our home. I was in the street. I lived in Hunter Park, the Badland area. When I was home, the homicide rate was at 500. There was Operation Sunrise. You couldn't even get into my environment, my neighborhood, without an ID. So that gives you a little picture of what we had experienced, of how turbulent these areas were. So imagine what I'm influenced by. I wasn't the worst case scenario, but I'm influenced by contemporaries that are knee deep in the streets. They are perpetuating violence because that's all they're saying. Perpetuating ignorance because that's all they're saying. My stepmother was a habitual crack smoker, which that gave me a whole nother perspective on life. So there was a lot of different elements. It was a very rough upbringing.
Oh, I really wanted to paint that picture for everyone because, again, people who listen probably don't know who you are. And then two, I know you're not looking for any handouts, you're not looking for any excuses, you're not blaming anybody. But I think it's good to highlight and address all that you were dealing with as a young child, because I think so many people get just thrown away, whether it's the system or the streets or whatever. There's so many people that just get screwed by so many different systems, and we just say, well, it's not me, or, whatever, it happens, but it shouldn't happen.
Right.
And we talked about this before about prison should be there to rehabilitate you because, you were on the wrong path. Should you be in for the rest of your life because you messed up as a kid and because you had no real positive influence and the streets was raising you? No. But some people will just say, like they took away your name and, hey, you're a criminal for the rest of your life. But I don't think that should be the case.
I don't think it should be the case either. And again, listen, I want to make sure that the world knows and all the listeners know that I don't condone violence or loss of life. It's always different when it's someone you love or are sitting in a situation that you think differently. So people of mine have died and been murdered, many people, plethora of individuals. So I always empathize towards individuals that have been victimized. Like I remember being shot as a young man, and I couldn't even go home and tell them, hey man, I just got shot in my leg, because I would have got my tail kicked for being shot, because what the hell are you doing out there being shot in these environments? Yeah. But again, I don't condone violence. I want to make sure that individuals know that. However, look, a child is a product of the influences that they're around. And I am a child that I didn't kill anyone, yet I have a life sentence. I didn't even have a gun, yet I have a life sentence. And I want y'all to fathom that. I want y'all to deeply consider that. Would you suggest someone spending the rest of their lives in prison if it was someone that you love that was in my shoes? Because you have to think on them terms. When you think about justice, it has to be a universal understanding. Don't just think about when you're witnessing something, but thinking about the experiencing of something. Would your perspectives be different if it was someone you love under these set of circumstances? If you knew someone's story, that they endured all these crucibles in life, would you tend to look at their actions differently that put them in the position that they're in? Sometimes you got to know where a person been, where a person is coming from, to make them to arrive at the position that they're in life. Without doing that, you can't really make a sound judgment on nobody.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that they know that.
No, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, but I think with prison, with even people with disabilities or homelessness, addiction, like they see some of this that goes on in life, and they try to separate themselves from it because it's like, oh, that could never happen to me. But just sticking to the prison thing on its own, we are all one really bad, dumb mistake away from being there. But a lot of people
Yeah.
think, well, oh no, I wouldn't kill somebody, I wouldn't do that. But like you haven't been put in a situation, but you have a car, you could accidentally hit somebody with your car.
Absolutely.
Or you could just be under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or you could, whatever. There's so many ways that could happen. Just like, homelessness or addiction, like all it takes is one moment of, oh crap, I made a couple bad payments and now I'm out on the streets. Or,
Right.
I'm having back problems and now I'm taking a few painkillers and now all of a sudden I'm buying heroin and God knows what else. So it's like
Right.
it can happen so easily, but I think people try to separate their emotions from it because it's like this far-fetched thing. It's like it can never happen to me, but it's like, no, man, like if you play your life 10 times over, a lot of times this may be the best scenario for you because the other alternatives is you could be dead, you could be an addict, you could be in jail,
Right.
or so many other things.
Well, all praise is due to God. Alhamdulillah. I say that because you're absolutely right. It can always be worse. And there is a decree, so I believe in that. And what happened, what was supposed to happen for me to learn, to me to galvanize some information, to me to be in an environment where I can maturate and learn some things about myself. But yeah, it's always easier when it's not you experiencing it. It's always easier thinking that this could never happen to you, that this is filled with individuals just like me and you. This is filled with so many people that I've grown up with, that I lived in environments with. It's not a lot of strangers in here. It's familiar faces. There's a whole lot of people that you went to school with, could be your cellmate, people that you were neighbors with, that's in the same institution as you. Now, back to the essence, prison ain't stopping the violence. Prison hasn't reduced any crime. They sell that to the public, so these $3 billion they get annually in Pennsylvania, it looks attractive. It looks compelling to the people. Yeah, let's put all this tax money up to act like we're fixing a problem. You're not fixing it. The homicide rate just 2 years ago was pretty much at 500 and some change. Yet the people that serve in life is 6,000. So you're saying you locked them up and threw away the key, but you didn't stop the violence. You didn't stop anything. In fact, the correction officers the year before last made $100 million in overtime. And let's really consider something else. Like I spoke to you last time. Let's consider the 13th Amendment. Let's consider servitude. Let's consider why these prisons built in rural areas to build economies and locations that the problems don't exist at. Let's look at the public school system. Why it's being defunded. Let's look at the playgrounds and why they abandoned, or after school programs and why they don't exist no more. But yet you have open door policies on prison. You have laws that exist that almost make it impossible to step outside without violating one of these laws. You living in an environment that is a dope epidemic. When I was home, it was a crack epidemic. What do you think happens? That produces robberies, that produces murder, that produces promiscuity, prostitution, and all these other things that create babies like me, that's put up for adoption, that don't know their lineage, that has difficulties in their brains because of neurological disparities, again, because of their parents' drug use. So there's a lot of things to consider. It's not just black and white. There's a lot of gray areas for some individuals. Statistics show that there's a high probability that a kid that was in a foster system will eventually come to prison. Why is that? There are statistics that show that inhabitants of my neighborhood will be inhabitants of these institutions. They got the school to prison pipeline, that you put me in a school And because of the educational system is not allowing me to flourish, the chances of me coming to the carceral system is astronomical.
Yeah, and it's like they want someone to change, but they don't give them the resources to change. And it's like when you see what's out there, like at the music industry, like for a good while there, they're pushing drill rap music, which is just people killing each other and talking about smoking them, the pack, which is essentially their ashes. And they were promoting that and pushing that. And then the music for the women, they're pushing Cardi B or somebody who's just talking about giving head and all these different things. And it's like, these kids are lost. Now imagine if you're a kid that doesn't have a home and you're being raised by the streets, and not like, at least some of these people have parents or grandparents, somebody there, and they're still being misled. But now if you don't have any of that, you don't have a real home, and you're on drugs or you're around violence all the time, you're set for failure. And then we send you to prison, which should be like the ultimate rehab, where it's like, hey, you go there for some years, do your 10, 20 years, you get better, you read, you learn the Bible and all these things, you come out and you're a better person. No, you're still a criminal, you still have all the tattoos, you can't get a job here because we don't hire criminals, you can't vote, you can't do any of these things. But like, prison should be the ultimate, I'm sorry. Like, I did my 20 years, I'm sorry, I fucked up, I'm back, I'm a new person. But when you get out, you're a criminal. Like once a dog bites a person, that dog bites people. Like it's silly, but.
Well, I want to touch on what you said, and I'm glad that you articulated such. You're very bright, and I'm glad that you're cognizant of these things. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel open when someone understands. So check this out. Cardi B is some young women's God.
Right.
The trap music and the drill music and all these other vibrations is some individuals' gospels. Yep. We see these things and we're influenced by these things. So mind you, now listen. So since I have a life sentence, the public doesn't know that there is no constitutional right for treatment or rehabilitation. Go look at the law. This is facts. I am just being warehoused. If I didn't seek treatment or rehabilitation out myself, I would just be put on a shelf waiting to die. But because I have some audacious ambition to do for myself, I became a public author in prison. I became a mentor where I created my own program called the Real Rap Program. It's a mentoring initiative. I became a college graduate on certain levels, from Widener University to St. Joseph University to Bryn Mawr University, all with a 4.0 grade point average. Mind you, I didn't even have any formal education at all. I was a hook year individual that dropped out. And I had to beg these people to give me an opportunity so I can be rehabilitated, so I can educate myself. And I'm a proud pusher of education over incarceration, because there's a few things that changes people's minds. There's experience and there's education. When you learn some new things, you tend to want to institute some new things. But all you know is the vibrations, like you mentioned, that we smoking on these packs, or I utilize violence just to be heard or just to be validated like everyone else. If I think that prison is a rite of passage or that death is preeminent, it's nothing I can do about it at the age of 18, then what you think is going to happen to me? What direction you think I'm going in? So these people aren't pushing it. But you have some individuals that, again, have the will and intrepid spirit to do something different for themselves. I didn't want to be my worst moment. I didn't want to be that. I don't want people to just know me as this person that made a blunder, that was around some contemporaries, that was kids themselves, and a terrible thing transpired, a terrible thing. However, you just put me in jail as an 18-year-old child that was only 18 for a few weeks, threw me to the wolves, to the people that really did do the killings and the murderers and the rapists and all of these other situations that I had to experience under these circumstances with no hope, that's a terrible thing to impose upon any child. Yet I rose above it and I was able to do something for myself. I wasn't allowing myself to be silenced. I wasn't allowing myself to just be an idiot that just sits in here, that I'm going to just do squat thrusters and push-ups my whole time, or I'm going to just occupy my time with ignorance. No. What I want to do is be of service to the people. I work for a parole agent now. Little old Matthew works for a parole reentry agent in the institution, and I help many men go home. The individuals that's going to be your neighbor, the individuals that's going to be in the supermarkets with you, in the malls with you, the individuals that's going to be in traffic with you. I try to shape them up and help them be better men, better civilians, better thinkers, better fathers, better motivators, better communicators, all of these different things. And I'm not inspired by the people that run the institutions. I had to find that in myself because it was absent from me. I didn't have mentors. I didn't have older individuals that was pushing the narrative that change is necessary, that change is urgent. They didn't give me that. What they was pushing the ignorance on me, allowing me to just run like an idiot institutionally, thinking that one day I was going to wake up and I was just going to be home without fighting for this. And I do have some people that support me, and I'm grateful for that. Individuals like Hector and Dunya that I'm extremely grateful for. Individuals like Christina and a lot of other individuals that helped me get to a certain place, Six Hearts and things of that nature. And I'm grateful for that. But some people are in here with no money, meaning I got the premier job, by the way, and I only get $61 a month. This is by me being an educator and also a person that facilitates other individuals going home. $61. And that's made for me to either wash my butt or eat, to pay for a phone call, to get on a kiosk where I have to utilize emails to communicate, which costs 25 cents to receive one, 25 cents to send one out. There's a lot of different things that civilians don't know about. Prison ain't just it. You're not just being put in an institution, isolated and confined from society. No, there's a lot more elements to this. There's a mental health a pandemic that's going on in here. Charles Dickens said that prison is cruel and it's unusual, and it will and can do things to the human mind. That's serious business, man. So just being in prison is not fixing anything.
Yeah. Is that how like cigarettes and things can become currency?
Yeah, in certain institutions, but they eradicated regular tobacco and they got e-cigarettes in some prisons. This prison doesn't have any smoke like e-cigarettes or nothing like that.
Okay.
What becomes currency in this joint is just your ingenuity. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I got you.
If you ain't got no ingenuity under these conditions, then it's not gonna be a good look. If you don't got no support, it's another thing that the people need to know. That affects everybody it's in proximity to. This thing discourages support. Imagine you married and a woman is inheriting a life sentence with you. That's the most terrible feeling in the world, that I didn't just receive a life sentence. I gave life sentences to the individuals that supported me. And by the way, I lost so much support because it always starts good in the beginning. But if I am a man trying to relinquish a life sentence, someone is not just going to step up and volunteer to have a life sentence on their own. It's taxing. Taxing on the spirit. It's taxing on the heart. It's taxing on the mind. This thing does a lot. It does a lot. And again, it affects everybody it's in proximity to, man. Everybody.
I can only imagine. Like I've been talking about in some of my videos where it's like I know that what I want is within reach, but every day I wake up and it doesn't happen, it just is like a disappointment. It's like, oh, here we go again. And you just got to keep rewriting the script. You got to keep reaffirming to yourself that, hey, it's going to be okay. This is a challenge. Keep getting through it. But as days go on, the more they go by, the more you start to doubt it. And so you have to constantly remind yourself every day why you're doing this and what you're doing it for.
Well, believe this, right? I believe that the reminder benefits the believer. And I'm going to give you some positive affirmation right here and right now,
okay,
for all your listeners to hear. You giving a man a voice. You giving a person a platform to tell their narrative opposed to someone telling it for you. This is service of epic proportion, man. This is a gift that you've given me. This is not nothing you owe me. This is also giving to the listeners a different perspective. It's giving listeners my experience so they can tell their children, hey, look, do you know that your kids can go in a store and one of their friends can rob the store store owner can shoot their friend, and because your son or daughter or nephew or little brother or husband or anybody that you love is with the other person, they get the homicide. That's what felony murder is. This is a reality that we live in. The world thinks that everybody's there is killers. There's 1,120 individuals in Pennsylvania alone that was sentenced to second degree. And this is why I created a petition on my social media. You could go to Instagram, MattRaw, which is MATTRAW_1980, and I got a change.org petition. They got hundreds of signatures to literally support the Derek Lee case that I told you the PA Supreme Court is giving a decision on any day, saying that is it constitutional to give mandatory life sentences for individuals like me? People don't know that. But because of you, now the world and your listeners, and I touch more people because of you. So I don't know what you aspire to do or what you aspire to be, but you're an individual that's handicapped. And I was telling a lot of my people, I said, there's this brother that's giving me a chance to be heard, that's giving me an opportunity to articulate and eloquate my story. And this brother is an individual that experienced a hard, rough life, but you ain't give up on other individuals that experience the same, bro. And that's power. They influence other people, man. They influence people to what? Not a reality that exists. People want to sweep this under the rug. They scared to fight for the injustices. They act like it can't happen to them. But you lived in my community. You live next to Matthew. There is another Matthew that lives next to you. And again, it's just a teen shot yesterday at the Ed. There was multiple teens shot over the weekend in general. You know why that's happening? Because the generation before them is either dead or in jail. So the only people that can pick up the guns is kids. They're somebody's kids. There's somebody's children. There's someone's loved ones. And prison still exists. And there's not a lot of people in here that is taking on the responsibility and task to say, look, this ain't it. This is humiliating. This is not no rite of passage. You can change the narrative. Not a lot of people are doing that. You want to know why? Because we live in a selfish world. We living in a world that if it ain't you, it don't matter. But look what you're doing. And that's why I say to myself, how dare I complain, man? You sitting here, experience what you experienced. What you doing, man? You giving me a second opportunity. And by the way, everybody that's listening, the first one didn't get recorded. And the man was compelled enough to give me a second chance. a second chance on his platform that he created and earned and built for the people. So
I appreciate
again,
that.
thank you from the bottom of my heart too, man.
Anytime, buddy. Well, I always try to look for the similarities in people and not just look at the differences. I mean, we're all different, sure. But, I got a cousin who's doing at least 10 years in jail because he won't rat on somebody who did commit a crime. I've been arrested once before, and mine was for aggravated assault because I was standing up for myself. But they said, hey, if you would have hit him one more time, it would have been attempted murder. So, I think about stuff like that because it's it didn't happen. I mean, that's not my life experience. I do love my cousin. He's an idiot. He does dumb shit, but I love him and I want him to be free, but I want him to figure out how to do it himself. But also, like I said, it's just again, like I said earlier, one bad incident where I would have made a different choice. I could have hit him 1-2 more times, and who knows how long I'd have been in. Maybe I would have got out of him, maybe not. But I don't judge people because it's we've all been stupid. We've all done dumb shit. We've all come from places, and we've all evolved. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago, let alone 30 years ago. Or in your case, what did you say, 27 years? So you had 27 years to my life.
Years, man.
I don't know where I'd be in 27 years. I have no fucking idea. Especially as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, you can't. And I made so many transitions that one week I had my mind set up on something, and the next week it changed and it altered. And now I got my mind set, and for some time I had my mind set on making change, vicissitude, changing other people's circumstances by my experiences. They got this saying that I always love to tell people that it is easy to repay an injury opposed to a benefit because gratitude is a burden and revenge is pleasurable. So say to the people, to victims, and you've been victimized, would you rather someone be isolated and confined for the rest of their lives, or to be a person, a man or a woman, to dedicate their lives of service to make change so other people don't do what cause you pain, cause you harm, cause you to not sleep good at night, cause you to lose a loved one? If a person is willing to be of service and they're showing better than they're saying, because this ain't a narrative just to, hey, get me out of jail. I'm doing the work from behind bars. When some individuals is right in society and they're not doing the work. And mind you, this is not an inspiring place. This is a place of destitution. This is a place of oppression. But some of us are inspired to be different, man, and to do different things and to be of service. And I'm one of them, man. I'm pushing the narrative, man. I'm pushing my energy and them vibrations, man. Everybody listening to what you said, the drill, man. I'm pushing something different. I'm pushing that to whom much is given, much is required.
Right.
And that's that.
I need people to know that everyone's norm is different, and obviously your norm is brutal. You see things that most people won't ever see in their lifetime, and I learned that even from myself, where it's I walk around with this vision problem, and I walk around with all my demons and my trauma and all that, and I carry it well, and I keep a smile on my face, and I try to uplift and all that. But I forget sometimes how hard I've had it because it's just been normal. Whereas when I explain it to people, they're just their mouths open what? That happened too? And you're still standing? It's yeah, man, I just refuse to let anything break me. And I don't want to see what happened to me being, ostracized and alienated from communities because of my disabilities or whatever else. I don't like to see that shit. And so, like I said, there's a lot of parallels in our story. They're different, obviously, but at the same time, it's you and I could have switched roles easily in a different lifetime. So it's, we're not that far off from each other. And it's sad that so many people try to push away and act like, oh, I don't know nothing about that. It's you just don't want to open your mind to it, but it's possible. And there's a lot of really dark, uncovered shit that people don't want to know about because it would depress them even more to realize how messed up life can really be and how many people have it so hard from others. There's a lot of unfairness.
That's a scary reality. And there is no equitability where I come from. And there's so many things that I didn't mention that I experienced because for what?
Right.
I don't want people to feel bad for me. I just want you to empathize, man. What if I was your brother? What if I was your husband? What if I was your son, man? That's what I want. Don't feel bad for me because there's thousands of other children that's just like me. Feel bad for the ones that haven't come into this yet. Feel bad for the ones that don't have a mentor, don't have a parent that is present enough to see like, yo, my baby needs tender love and care. Feel bad for the individuals that don't have a platform, that can't get their story out there. My story is mine, and it's not a good story, but it's not the worst. It can always be worse. I'm hoping to make this translate into a story of redemption. And this man got on here. This man tried to inform people, to remind people that there's a reality that exists that isn't going to always make the news. There's a reality that exists that isn't always going to be right in front of your face, but it still exists. Yeah. It's still happening. There's still multiple men coming in prison. There's still multiple laws being penned to make sure that they come to prison. There's still checks being cut to make sure that prisons are being built. So
yeah, I just saw a video.
Like I said,
sorry,
what you saying?
I saw a video the other day of a shootout, and these kids were no older than 13, and a kid got killed. I think one of them was either 10 or 11. And they gunned somebody down, and it's like they're 10 to 13, even less than even younger than what you were. It's like, what do we throw them away because they had no father, they had no guidance, or do we just say they're a criminal their whole life? Because it's like I was a dumb 25-year-old. I could only imagine what a dumb 13-year-old is thinking.
My brother, listen, throwing them away. He did that already. Pennsylvania had more juvenile lifers, meaning under the age of 18, than the whole entire world put together collectively. They've been throwing them away.
Yeah, no, I know.
They've been transpiring, and it ain't stopped that video being made of what you seen. And mind you, who's taking the video? Who's watching this stuff transpire? It's like everybody is implicit on being witnesses and not being implicit on being solutions. And I'm not saying, listen, if you're not in it, then don't be in it. And if you worried, you worry. But if you got enough time to have a camera and post these things, then you got enough time to pass a message off to these shorties, man, to these babies. Because, again, the carceral system, the Department of Corrections, they ain't fixing the problem, man. The court system isn't fixing the problem. In fact, look, I had the honor and privilege. The district attorney has a diversion program. So for 2 weeks in a row, which was the week before last and the week before that, I got to meet with 14 young men in one occasion and 10 in the other. And it was all ranging from the ages of 18 to 24. Already got cases. But I got to speak to them. I got to communicate with them. I got to look them in the eyes and show them how humiliated I am. That this is humiliating. I ain't broken because I am a warrior. I am not broken, but I am humiliated and I am in pain. And I got to speak to them. And it was a microcosm of what I want to do because I do it institutionally. And some of the young men in here are a little more polished than the ones that I got to interact with. However, man, I'm in prison doing it. And they ain't writing me no certificate to get out. This didn't make no news. This is my job. This is my job to say, look, bro, they're not, they don't care. They don't care. They're just going to watch and say, man, why you talking to them young men? And they're not going to listen anyway. All them young men is begging to communicate with me now. There was tears in our eyes So you telling me they don't care? They care. They just care from authenticity. They don't want to hear somebody giving them, they don't do X, Y, and Z. Well, give them an option of what they can do. Give them an alternative. Be consistent in a discourse. Don't just think that you pass one message off and that's going to change somebody's mind. Mentorship, being a big brother, being someone that cares, being someone of service, one dialogue don't change people's minds. I mean, you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. We got to let some of our leaders home. There's some strong men in here, man. There's some men that do have a little bit of the wherewithal to make that change be different out there, man.
Absolutely.
Straight up, bro.
Just so you know, whenever we do get cut off, I plan on doing at least a second part, at least a few minutes of it, so we can totally finish. But but I don't know how much time we have. But one of the things we talked about on the last one that I really wanted to get into that I found interesting is talking about, like, essentially the racism in prison, like how it's very segregated and how, what is acceptable in prison is definitely not accepted out here in society. Putting all one color together obviously was abolished a long time ago, but in prison, those same rules still apply.
Yeah, in many circumstances, people tend to stick with their own, but I would say this. They eradicated Hispanic from the Department of Corrections, and they're doing this for whatever purpose they have. When you're documented as a prisoner, you're either black or white. That's it.
Wow, really?
There is no in between. So you done lost autonomy and everything. The same thing that a regular general prisoner loses is autonomy. But yeah, there's a lot of violence in here. There's a lot of separation. There's a lot of racism. Again, majority of the institutions is built in rural, suburban, white areas. People that are controllers and dictators of other individuals that they can't relate to culturally. They don't understand our problems. They don't understand our idiosyncrasies. They don't understand the environments we came from. They automatically deem us as nefarious individuals. So that's a lot to it. And again, yeah, there's a lot that goes along with it. There's still people getting raped in here. There's still people being killed in here. There's still RHUs, which is the restricted housing unit where people spend multiple years in, which I've done years in solitary confinement, and at one point in time, I almost lost my damn mind. Unfortunately, I've been starved. I've been shocked. I've been maced. I've been deprived of communication. I've been humiliated. I've been held in cells naked. This is my reality. That's why I didn't want to put their narrative out there, but prison is real. Don't just stop when you come to jail like, okay, they're in prison now. No, this is a serious situation. There's a lot of dynamics of it, and it's scary. It's scary.
Yeah.
I'm in an institution now that there's a lot more education. There's a lot more opportunity that I'm grateful for, but I had to work so diligently, industriously to position myself here. I even got a cat, by the way. And
when did you talk about that? Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, listen, man. Her name is Lil Mama, and I love her. She is an amazing thing and brought me a sense of normalcy back into my life, man. Gave me a different spirit, man. I love my baby, man. I adopted her, so I'm a feline foster father, and I take my baby home with me. So, and inshallah, I hope that is soon. Again, like I said, I need help. We need signatures on these petitions. We need videos put up. If you feeling my story or feeling stories like mine, man, I gave you my Instagram. My Facebook is Matthew Garcia. Handsome brother with the comb over. Easy to find. Support. Put videos up. If you are feeling my story, if you feel like it resonates to you, we can make some change. And I swear by Allah, I'm coming home to be of service to my community. Wallahi, I am. I mean that.
No, I believe you, my friend. You've done more in prison than most do in their communities that are free. There's a lot of
scholarship for rich youth. I did school supply giveaways, man. I've done a lot of work with councilmen and state representatives. But what does it mean? I'm still here. I've done it of service and effectuated some change, but they're not kicking the door to get me out. That's why I need help, man. That's why this platform is a gift. I need help.
But just know you're still doing more good than most who are free. 'Cause there's a lot of people that talk that or they record it. You know, you'll see somebody feeding the homeless, but it's like, why do you have a camera? Put the camera down, just feed the damn homeless. Whereas you know what you're doing. Most people don't know because no one will allow it to get out. But you know what you're doing. You know how many people you have affected, including the people that, you know, live in there with you. So it's sometimes this is we want this validation. We want people to say like, oh, you're doing a great job. I mean, I'll tell you that you are, but you know, you shouldn't need that. I mean, especially since you believe in God and all that, like, you know, you're doing a great thing and you're going to be free. You just, I mean, unfortunately it's the P word, being patient and continuing to pursue what you want. But, you know, you refuse to let anyone tell you no.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
I want change. I don't want validation. The validation comes in change, my brother.
Yep.
I want to see a different narrative. I want to see my babies stop being killed. I want to see good fathers. I want to see good leaders.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see a better community. I want to see that, man. I want to see more individuals like you helping. I want to see more individuals like you, my brother. That's what I'm trying to see.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Change.
No, I mean,
Absolutely.
I said this, like, if I die and like there's 70% of people with disabilities are unemployed. If I die and 69% and I was a small part of that change, I'm good with that. Like, as long as I did something to make change for the future, you know, us, I'm good with that. It's not much, but it's something.
No, that's a whole lot.
There we go. I knew that was about to happen. We're back.
What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
What it is, man. Back like we never left, huh?
That's right.
How you feeling, man?
I'm good. How are you, buddy?
I'm alive, man. I'm hanging in there. A little overwhelmed today. I have no idea why. Perhaps it's because of one of our little guys just got murdered, but I mean, this is same old, man.
Yeah, I feel a little overwhelmed, but for totally different reasons. You know, I have my good days and my bad days mentally, and some days it's just I have to get myself out of that funk where I'm just piling on and, oh, woe is me type shit, and I just eventually I shake it off and I keep going. I got the gym later, so I'll do it there.
Yeah, go, man. Hopefully, when I get home, you allow me to personally train you as well, man.
Awesome.
That's what I do. So,
yeah.
A nice little regimen. Maybe it could be therapeutic for both of us. You would give me some information, and perhaps I could just give you some exercises, and you could give me some of that wisdom you got, man.
Hey, that works both ways. I'll take it.
Hey, did you listen over to everything we did? How did it come out? Was it good?
It's good,
Clear?
Yeah, it's good. I would say like your mic was a little distorted, but in general, it was still pretty good.
Okay. And in the beginning, the poem came out good as well, right?
Yeah, everything's good. Like I said, this part of it, I really, because I did start recording just, you know, because it's a real thing. So there's no fabrication. So it's like we're just talking. I wanted to give you a chance because it cut off abruptly, of course. And I wanted to kind of give you a chance to kind of wrap it up. So, because again, I would treat you like I would treat any other person, whether they're free or in prison. So I don't want it to be unfair and it's just like, oh yeah, just cut it off because, well, we couldn't talk again. No, Here we are. So, but I mean,
authenticity is everything, bro. So I always, I pride myself on preparation in general. Napoleon Hill has a thing about think and grow rich. And they said that unless a man has trained himself for his chance, that the chance will only make a man look ridiculous. And that a great occasion is worth to a man exactly what his preparation enables him to make of it. So I'm always ready. And I just wanted it to be as authentic as, like you said, clear, authentic. I just want to make sure when we heard, like it ain't, a waste of time.
Oh, yeah. No,
want to be heard, want to be felt, right?
no, it's great. And I want to speak because I want to manifest it for you. Because so when you get out, what, like, do you have like an idea of like, I mean, obviously you're going to enjoy the little things, just breathing and being free
This
and all
is a
that.
call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Chester. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
But
I hear you, bro.
what do you think do you have a plan on what you want to do when you get out?
Besides being a speedo model, yeah, I got a plan, man. I got a major plan. What I do now is a career. This is what I want to do. That's service the people, be a voice and an influence to our community. I'm already a published author. I write constantly. Got more books to come out, actually. Your son, which is Jonah P, if I'm saying that right. He did the cover of my book, the new one, and we pushing that out. But from speaking engagements to me acting, we turning my program into a non-profit. So it's just to service the people. I got my mind beat up. I have a 1,000 different ideas to do things. I got a few LLCs already. One is with the Real Rap Mentor Initiative that I got, and I also have another one with Penitentiary Fit. So a lot of the time, people be like, man, we want to be in shape like the men that's in jail. So I thought it would only be fitting to say Penitentiary Fit, and we give them a lot of the jailhouse exercises and the things that maybe the common people aren't used to. So yeah, I want to do fitness. I want to do life coaching. I want to do mentorship. But service, man, service is it. Service is it. I want to continue that.
Yeah.
I feel like searching for happiness, man. Like, unfortunately for me, man, I've been betrayed on the grandest scale. And, it was God's decree, so I endure it. So I'm pretty much going home to myself, besides the people that are instrumental in my life now, which is people that got their own life and problems and stuff like that, and that they're going to allow me to ingratiate myself.
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Chester. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Allow me to ingratiate myself, and I get there with them, then that's what I'm going to do. But I'm really going home to myself. And I'm not scared. It was just very unfortunate because I ain't have no second plan. There wasn't no contingency. I thought marriage was going to be everything, and I'm going home to, my childhood sweetheart. We got married. Everything is going to be everything. But like I was mentioning to you before, that prison affects everyone that is in proximity to. So, albeit I was betrayed, I still don't cast no blame totally, because this is what it's designed to do. It's designed to break disenfranchised. It's designed to make people not believe in the unseen, having faith, not believing in what's not right in front of their eyes. And unfortunately, temptations and life goes on for some people. So I would like to say that I'm going home to that, but I don't even know anymore, bro. So my whole thing is, I know what I want to do as far as helping the people. That part of my mind is already made up. My heart is in it.
Right.
And nobody but God can alter that unless I come home and get killed or something like that.
Right.
Which I seek refuge with God from that.
Sure.
But my mind made up, bro. I have to get back. I complain too much about the gaps in here, the absences, to not put forth effort to try to change that. I complain too much about my upbringing, how, I went all the way to black belt as far as a martial artist when I was a young boy. A lot of people don't know that. However, the reason why I was able to do martial arts is because it was in my community. So they didn't give us discipline. What they did was gave us the ability to defend ourselves. But I had like a promise there. I had potential. but nobody stepped up and see me in pain and see me enduring what I'm enduring and gave me the counsel that I needed, that mentorship that I needed, that love that I needed on a consistent basis. They didn't see it. The people that were there, they tried their best and they was going through what they was going through, but the craziest thing in the world was that they had their own thing and they wasn't consistent. For me, they didn't see it, and I can't really blame them no more in retrospect. But I know better now.
Right.
So I gotta get it back, bro. I can see it. I see the youngest in pain, man.
Yeah.
You know, one of our guys was just murdered brutally. Somebody that I loved, their brother was just murdered recently, and I'm having to sit there and watch them in pain. And
Sure.
I don't want other people that keep going through that stuff, man.
Yeah.
I don't want people to not be able to identify their potential because everybody's enveloped in their own problems, and nobody owes me nothing. I don't. I can't sit around and think that anybody owes me anything, and even to this day, nobody owes me nothing. I feel like I owe the community. I feel like I owe the people. So,
Gotcha.
from fitness to continuing to do public speaking to continuing to do my mentorship and life coaching to a lot of little business endeavors that I have, I'm going to try. That's the only thing I can do is try.
Right.
So we'll see what happens then.
I
ain't one of them guys that are in jail and I talk the talk. Like, I'm
Right.
doing the stuff with when there's no reward. You know what I mean? There ain't no cameras on me. I'm not getting no certificates for doing none of the things I've done.
No, you're just a good person.
Like that. Like you and like Dunya, like Hector, and like a few other people.
Right.
I also want to make sure that I said again because everybody keep asking me.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Cal Little, free Cal Little, man. Another beautiful, amazing brother, man. Free him.
I actually have a question for you because I remember asking a friend of mine. He lost all his sight when he was 18, and I said, because he said his favorite color is orange, and I said, and he's now in his 40s, and I said, do you remember what it's like to see? And I promise I don't remember I don't mean this to rhyme, but do you remember what it's like to be free?
I never was free.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
I never was free. I was always in some type of prison. A prison of ignorance. It was always like, I just had this idea that I was going to either be in jail with this when I was 18, and I literally manifested it. And I don't know where it derived from. Perhaps it was the destruction and the adversity that I've seen, but I never was free, bro. And I know that sounds kind of crazy. I never was free. I can't even remember my disposition at all these years. You know, some people, I remember moments that was euphoric in a sense, that I was around people that I didn't appreciate the most. Like the woman I married. Her name is Christina Reyes. And I'll say her name out loud on here, even though in a lot of platforms my name wasn't being mentioned, but I'll say her name. I had always had this idea that I hurt her because I was in pain. And I remember her. I remember my sister Zena. I remember because she was such a beautiful person. Now, mind you, I'm adopted, so it's not my biological blood, but she's my sister. She had cancer, but she never allowed it to defeat her. She ended up dying in 2000, January 8th. And I was in prison already, and I couldn't even go to her funeral because of being in prison. But I remember her. I remember summertime going swimming. I remember martial arts. I remember pain outside of those things. Man. It wasn't a good. I don't remember the good. I was in prison, man.
No, I got you. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, you don't have to have the same life as you to understand that. I think a lot of people feel imprisoned in their own way, even when they're not actually behind bars. Um,
Right?
there's a lot of suffrage. There's a lot of things that people endure that keep them from being able to enjoy life to the fullest. And uh, it may,
Right.
on the surface, it may seem like, well, you have a family or you have a house or whatever, and those things are great. But there are times when maybe you live in a house full of abuse, and your freedom is when you get to go to school or whatever, something, grocery store, anywhere where you're in public. So because behind the scenes you're getting abused. You could feel, enslaved to a lot of different formats in this world. So, yeah, but I appreciate your honesty with that, because, like I said,
You gotta be truthful, man. Some people say they remember the grandest things. That ain't my life, man. And I was having a conversation earlier with Sonia. I'm always authentic.
You have 1 minute left.
I deal with. I'll call back when I hang up, but
yeah,
I'm always authentic to the people that I deal with. And I'm like, man, y'all hear me? Don't feel sorry for me. I just want you to empathize. Because perhaps you don't save me or help me, or what I'm saying doesn't resonate. There's a lot of other kids that still are in prison to the community. There's a lot of other people that are in prison to a design that literally, listen, all the drugs, all the guns, all the violence in our areas. There's houses that are already are barred up as if there are a institution, a prison. This is my community. This is what we already there. So perhaps you hearing this, to empathize when you see them little kids out there, all these kids getting killed recently. We just had a weekend of horror, all these teenage boys.
Thank you.
All of these things is going to remind you how raw and real it is. Communication is always interrupted and altered, and you got to go through what you got to go through. But
yeah. Well, we can.
So to finish off, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to make sure that people know that Matthew Garcia is one of so many other people. I come to prison as a child. There's a lot of other children on the precipice of coming here already. Right now, as we speak, this thing called the prison industrial complex, it ain't making me no better, man. What made me better is I educated myself, and I had an awakening that I wanted to be different. But this didn't do that. This caused a lot more pain. Like I said, man, I was betrayed, and I've been living with a broken heart, literally. And I'm still having to stand up because they don't care about that in here. Broken hearts are a common thing. I've been literally disassociated from with people that are supposed to be dear to me. I'm 33 minutes away from the city. I'm not getting those visits from folks that's in my joint. It's more so people that I grew up with come seeing me, or the lady that I mentioned, she still come through every once in a while. But listen, man, this is not easy. So when you're thinking that the little kid is coming to jail is going to come in here and they're going to be rehabilitated and they're going to get it, that's not true. It's not a lot of people that's embarking upon the journey that I embark upon when I'm seeing the youngins, and I'm taking it upon myself to try to give them some light and influence. Because, yeah, I was able to accomplish a lot. I went to college in here. I've excelled. I've created programs. I helped facilitate programs. I ran recovery units and got hundreds of people home. I'm responsible for a lot. But I had to work hard to get there. I had to put some heavy duty work in to put myself in position to be able to do that, to see past all this pain and all this other stuff. Not a lot of people are strong, man. We succumb to this. We succumb to all of this. So I'm telling the people that's listening, look, man, if you're not feeling my story, that's okay. But don't act like it can't be your son, can't be your brother, like I mentioned before, your husband, or somebody that you love and your neighbor. It's only one decision that you make that changes everything after that.
Yeah.
Don't ever forget that.
No,
And I just want to make sure that the people understand it, man. Again, if you got some love for making some change, I keep saying it. I got a petition online. Go to Matthew Garcia on Facebook or MattRaw_1980 on Instagram, and it's a change.org petition, man. Y'all can digitally sign it. It don't take no money. Y'all can put videos up saying you
This is a
support.
call from Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Chester. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
You support second chances. And you could also think in your mind, damn, Matthew Garcia didn't even have a gun, but he has a life sentence. How does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I'm grateful.
Yeah, I want to wrap it up, and then you and I can just kind of talk after. But
Yes, sir.
I want to, so we don't keep getting interrupted and all that. And but yeah.
Yeah, they only do it 2 times on the joint. I already got it maxed out.
Okay.
The first 5 minutes of your phone call, they those recordings go off. I think we beat them already.
Okay. But like I said, I'm not going to hang up, but I just want you to know I appreciate you coming on, man, sharing your story. When you get out, we'll definitely meet up. We'll see what life has in store for you. It's going to be awesome, I think.
I think it is too, man, especially with your help and support. Meaning that you helped me navigate in this big-ass world that I've been absent from. Perhaps you could meet my baby, little mama, and we could be fur baby pops. And I could bring her over to see your fur baby.
There you go.
Like that, because she's come home with me. I adopted her, so that's my baby.
There you go. Yeah, my cat Bullet's right next to me right now, so that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I seen her when we was talking before, man.
Yeah,
And thank you again too, man, because you ain't got to do this. Don't ever think, I owe me nothing, man. You don't owe me nothing. What you have given me, which is a gift, and that's being heard. And I hope people feel me. But I gotta thank you, man. Your audience.
This is a call from
Pennsylvania
State Correctional Institution, Chester. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Your audience should really appreciate you due to the fact that perspective is a gift, man. You giving somebody perspective on a different side of the world that we live in, and you interrupted your regularly scheduled program to talk about a reality that exists, and you gifting people with that, man. People get on this joint and just, hey, man, I'm innocent. I ain't do this and I ain't do that. And feel bad for me, but I gave you a little bit of everything. And you allow me to do that. And maybe, together we are agents of change, man. Your platform, my story, but the people should appreciate you because this is philanthropy at its finest. You giving back. So thank you, my brother.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime. Like I said, I treat you like I treat anybody else that would come on the show. You're just the first person I interviewed that's still behind bars, but you're not the first person that has been convicted. So, and it doesn't change anything. Like I said, I think everybody should be rehabilitated. I think everybody should be given another chance. If you keep screwing those chances up and, like I said, you're a habitual offender, then, you belong in prison. But you're somebody who circumstances were dealt, pretty wrongly. And
you know what's wild, right? Every time I speak to like a legislator or a senator or any person in position of power to make change, right? I always say this. I say Theodore Roosevelt said, to show me a man who hasn't made a mistake, and I show you a man that hasn't done anything at all. So
right. No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's why I tried to relate a little bit in the beginning of this episode is, one bad decision could land you somewhere else. It could land you paralyzed. It could land you in jail. It could land you homeless. Right. It could land you an addict. Like, all these things or you could be all the above, to be honest.
Right.
So it's like, it's not like you just like, oh, if you're disabled, you're free of being homeless or an addict or in prison. Nope. There's plenty of disabled people in prison. There's plenty of addicts that are homeless. Like, it all can happen. You don't get like a ticket that says, oh, hey, I got my one shitty thing for my life. It can happen. So yeah. And I just think anybody, and then again, like if you were just on here going, hey man, prison is amazing. And I love, then it's like, yeah, I don't want to do it. It's the same thing. The reason why I don't have people on who have disabilities who are like, oh, having a disability sucks. Life is over. It's because I want people to do something good with their life and to help others. Cause there's a lot of people that are like you or were like you or will become you, and they're looking for some guidance, and I can't give them the prison experience, but you can. And if you can keep somebody alive and keep somebody from going in, awesome.
Keep this, right? America is 5% of the world's population, but it holds 25% of all of the people that's in prison. That's telling you something. Yeah. It's a big business here, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big business. The 13th Amendment was created for a reason. But now they starting to see that change is real, like Sherrill Park and all of them is hiring and employing the experienced livers, the people that got lived experience. And that's the people that's come on from prison to really the direct navigation towards the problems, because we've been through it. So who better than us? We close to the solution. And especially when you overcame this, 65% of all new entrepreneurs in America, by the way, are coming out of prison. So that's just showing you, when you give somebody something to change their mind, to alter things, and that's speaking about like coming home, to hollering at these youngins on a consistent basis, to speaking to the women that's supporting the men under these conditions as well, because that's a major thing I want to do too. Y'all should be proud of yourselves. It's honorable to hold somebody down in prison that you love. It's honorable to support somebody that's behind these lines that you love. Don't allow nobody to discourage you from being a major beacon of hope to somebody you love. Being faithful, being honorable, doing the right thing when nobody is looking, that's a major thing. A lot of people try to discourage people from supporting them. Oh man, they just gonna come home and break your heart, or they just talking this jail talk. That's only because they try and bend them over, which that's what they do. People in a circle that's talking this fight the power and all that, and we should do something about the prison industrial complex and all that. They be the same ones going at the women that's supporting the men under these conditions as well. So I don't just want to speak to the children. I want to speak to the women that love men behind this, or the families that's affected by this, because y'all support can make the person that's inhabiting the prison to do something better with themselves, to want to go to school, to want to think about their decisions a little bit differently. So I want to I would be sad if I mention that out loud too. And I ain't shooting no shots. It's just real. Being loyal is real. Being faithful, that should be something that we compliment and we appreciate and we support. Not this love and hip hop rap that you bounce with everybody that nailed the same chick and the same dude and they all in the same circle, and that's okay. That ain't okay. Yeah. That ain't okay.
No, I got you. Yeah, there's a lot of poor guidance and a lot of bad representation of just humans in general. And a lot of times they like to show the ratchet version of every community so that we can go, oh God, look at those people. And then it's just another way of keeping us divided. And it's like,
don't support your loved one in jail. don't give them the visits, or don't have an idea that this person may be a great person once they come out. You already know, like I know, man, love can alter everything. And nothing can beat love, man. I know that for sure, because just a little bit of love, man, has gotten me a long way, man. Just a little bit. Just a little bit has inspired the deepest parts of my soul to be a better person, man. Because you stop just thinking about yourself. You start thinking about the people that you love as well, man. But dudes see a pretty woman and, hey, why you messing with this person in jail? Why you married him in jail? Why you do all of that?
Yeah.
And make a person second guess themselves. And it is what it is at the end of the day. But man, listen, being honorable, knowing that this is designed to separate, having that understanding, that's important.
You have 1 minute left.
So, yeah, my brother.
Yeah, let's wrap it up at that, and then we can finish talking if you want. But like I said, I appreciate you coming on, my friend, and I'll keep Dunya informed when it'll come out.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you, and we're brothers now, man.
Yeah, that's all right.
Brothers now, man. You extended the bridge to me, man, and I hope one day I can do the same in return. We brothers now, man. We not friends, man.
I got you.
This makes us family, man. You a sister help.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
that makes us family, bro. That makes us family.
I'm good with that. You don't owe me anything, but I appreciate it either way.
Free the men and women, y'all.
That's right.
Uhuru Sasa. Free the men, man. Free the women. Get